Hey YouTube, I'm back again. Video number something another. But today's topic is a little bit more serious. At least to me it's serious. Some people they don't care about it, some people it's very important, to some people it affects them a lot, and some people have no direct connection to it at all. But things like drugs and drinking, I have a strong stance on when it comes to their existence and their place in our society. See, drugs, from marijuana all the way to like the bad or worse stuff, acid, mushrooms, etc., that stuff is generally not acceptable. Weed is becoming more acceptable as the times go by because people are starting to realize that that's not the worst of the drugs you can get and have and experience in life. Yet, for the longest time, a lot of people would just easily go to jail for containing and possessing it. Yes, people growing it like it's a vegetable in their backyard is not the smartest thing in the world, but I'm not making a call on drugs as a whole in this video. I also want to talk about drinking. And yeah, alcohol is fine. I myself don't really like beer at all, but I've tried some alcohols in the past and it's not bad. It's just not my cup of tea. But to some people it is, and I can understand that, and I respect and appreciate their opinions. I just don't see that it's 100% necessary to either do drugs or drink alcohol. Now, before you get up in arms, anybody and who's watching these videos that does one of the two things, let me explain. See, the part of drugs and alcohol that I'm going to tackle, which I could have turned into a separate video, but I'm going to make it a 2.5 to 3 topic video in one, is the addiction aspect to drugs or alcohol. Now, like I said, I have drunk before, and I do enjoy some alcohols, yet weed and stuff is not entirely my cup of tea. So, to me as a person, I don't see there to be a necessity in it, and I don't want people around me to think of it as a necessity or just generally enjoy it enough to where it's a addiction. And the way I fear that drugs and drinking becomes an addiction is when you use it as a comfort in the most stressful times or in the harder times of your life. Like losing a job, if you go get drunk or go smoke weed or do something, then that has comforted you in your time of need. If your car broke down and you go do those two things, it is comforting you in your time of need. I don't want or don't like seeing it be that option for people when something bad happens in their life. I don't want to see that that's the thing that you do if life gets hard on you, because from there I feel like you're always looking towards it to ease the pain now. And that's where I see addictions coming from. And yes, there are many different ways someone can be addicted to something, but I never want it to be, or I don't like seeing it be because someone just does this to let go or to be loose or have fun or just generally detox and get the stress out of them. But I'm like, drugs and alcohol should not be the way you get the stress out of you, in my personal opinion. Now, I know I'm going to sound like one of those stay in school kids, don't do drugs types of people, but I'm not saying that at all. Everybody is entitled to do what they want to do with their life. All I'm saying is don't use any of those methods as an escape, because then it becomes a slippery slope where anything can set you off and make you turn towards that for relief. And that's the point of being addicted to drugs and or alcohol that makes me not want that for you or for anyone or for a specific person, or just the general idea or thought process behind your actions. Whew. Because once you do that, you start distancing yourself from people, and people start cutting you off, or you just change on them. Either you change and they no longer want you around, or they change and the fact that you are still in that way, in that set, and in that mindset leaves you behind, and when everybody else is progressing, you're stuck there. I don't want that for anybody. I don't wish that on anybody, because yeah, it's the person's own choice, but at the same time, that causes powers that be in actions beyond your control just because you made a decision a while back that is now a very big part of your life. And to an extent, you cannot live without that part of your life anymore. And I don't want it to ever come to that. Now, we can go out of drugs and alcohol and say people have addictions to everything and anything and everything. And that is true. People do have addictions to anything and everything. And as a matter of fact, I am going to, just grab this right quick, and I'm going to write something on it to help continue my video. Kind of smudged it a bit, but oh well. And I'm just going to slide this back into the camera view like that, because since I am talking about addiction as well, I might as well put it on the board, because I put things on the board that I talk about. So, that being said, yes, anybody and everybody can be addicted to a certain thing, as long as it provides them with a feeling that they don't want to live without, or that makes life easier for them. And yeah, not all addictions are bad addictions. You can be addicted to being fit, but an addiction at the same time depends on how much time you put into something. If you put too much time into something that it sucks away from the rest of your life, then it is an unhealthy addiction. Like, if you have an addiction to staying fit to where it's in your daily regimen and you daily keep yourself healthy, good for you, good on you, mate. But if you don't get a job because all you want to do is run a mile, do some push-ups and sit-ups and stuff, and if you don't have a social life because you want to run a mile, do some push-ups and sit-ups and stuff, that in itself is a problem. Because just as we need to stay healthy as human beings, we also need social connections to people, and if we don't, that's how people go insane. So everything within its own healthy balance. To one person, something is addiction, to another person it's not, and they just enjoy it as a pastime. I just enjoy gaming as a pastime, but at the same time I still go to work, I still have friends, and etc., etc. Gaming is a big part of my life outside of the elements of going to work and doing things that I need to do, and sometimes outside of being with friends, because sometimes I game with friends, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I go with friends just to hang out and talk and, do the thing. But anything that you're sacrificing other parts of your life to fulfill is an unhealthy addiction. And things like drugs and alcohol are definitely slippery slopes to ways to ruin your life with said addiction. Because every addiction can ruin your life. But drugs and drinking can not only have an effect on you, but everybody around you. Your family and friends that you can't reach, or they can no longer reach you because of said things. Drugs, drinking, or any other addiction you decide to put your mind to puts you at a loss, puts them at a loss. And in the cases of drugs and drinking, puts everybody around you at a loss, and everybody is more dangerous now because of the situation that you put them in. A person that drinks, that wants to still be out there and experience life in the public, is just generally making life worse for everybody else because they don't live unsober. And this is another one of those powerful, I have a lot to say videos, but it's because it's powerful and I have a lot to say. So, yeah. So to anybody, this is a everybody check yourselves type of moment. You know, just look at things in your life and ask yourself, is anything being sacrificed for something else in your life? Or are you doing anything that is just generally putting you away from any and everybody else in your life because you worry so much about it? And you know, just wake up, and easier said than done, wake up and change it, but just take a look at yourself and think about it. I'm not saying, oh, you got to make this mind-blowing revelation to become a new person and just totally flip everything 180, but I'm saying just take a look at where you are in life and make sure you're not sacrificing any of the experiences you could be having in life because something is so important to you. And that's my spiel, my rant, my talk about drugs and alcohol and addictions in general. If you like the video, leave a like. If you want to say something about addictions, if you want to try to play either side, I will listen to both sides. I'm open-minded. I will hear what you have to say. Leave it in a comment or shoot me a message if you have me on a message type deal. And subscribe if you want to see more of these. I don't always have these super powerful things to say, but sometimes they just come out and I generally get passionate about talking about it. So I appreciate everybody. I wish you a life of happiness and enjoyment, and I will see y'all in the next video. See ya.